stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. First item is approval of our agenda. A motion, please.
So moved. Second.
Second. All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. All right. We have the approval of our minutes for October 17th, 2023 of our regular board meeting. A motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Okay. Approval of the minutes of our October 31, 2023 special board meeting. Motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. All right. Under communications, we have student voices from Roosevelt Elementary. A short presentation by Ms. Jenna Hammond. Ms. Hammond?
Come on up. All right, Roosevelt has been blessed with a spotlight this month, and we have been able to share several things that we do positively to impact our children on a daily basis. That's what we do here at school, isn't it? Right? The importance of school in a greater community is nearly unquantifiable, but I brought some friends along to tell you why Roosevelt is so important to our community, right? All right. Let's get in our little shape. Why is Roosevelt or any school important to a community?
It's a place where we get to learn new things every day. Schools teach us about numbers, letters, science, history, and lots more. They're like treasure chests of knowledge waiting for us to explore.
School is a safe place where we can be ourselves. They feed you there. They let you have exercise, and everybody's there is really nice, and they try to keep you safe.
School is where we make friends and have fun together. We play games do projects and laugh a lot. It's where we learn to work and play as a team.
It makes school fun.
School helps us get ready for the world outside. They teach us important things we'll need to grow up, like reading, writing, and how to solve problems.
I neglected introducing them, so I would like to introduce, and we're going to show you one more thing, right? Nash Baker, Duke Baker, Merritt Baker, Ty Sutherland, Hudson Capias, and Addison Helton. And ladies and gentlemen, these were all volunteers when asked if anybody would like to come talk to the board about what they love about school. So I think that's pretty important that these guys volunteered. Right. At Roosevelt, we wish that these students could not only recognize how important our school is within our community, but also how important each one of these kids are in creating our school. We recite our pledge every morning to emphasize our commitment to every student every day. And so these lovely young men and women are going to say the character pledge for you.
I am somebody. I believe Roosevelt as a better somebody. I am safe, respectful, and responsible.
I am important. I deserve a great education. I have goals to achieve. I have goals to change.
I am a crusader. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You guys can go ahead. Who's next?
Great job. Great job. Way to go.
Thanks for holding here.
Good job. Way to go.
Right, good to see you. How are you? All right, good job. Good job. Good job. Thanks for coming tonight.
Sweetheart, you're wonderful.
Thanks for coming tonight. Proud of you.
Thank you.
Okay, now we have our Heartland hero and our featured teacher from Roosevelt Elementary. Ms. Hemmons? Don't leave yet.
Right. You guys are definitely going to be tired of hearing from me tonight. Good evening. I wanted to begin by thanking the Board of Education and you for being here tonight and allowing us to be here. Roosevelt was blessed with a spotlight this month, as you have just seen, and we've had many opportunities to celebrate. Today, I have the distinct pleasure of recognizing Miss Krista White. She's an educator whose tenure here has been marked by excellence, dedication, and a profound impact on the lives of countless students. Emphasis on the word countless. It's a frustrating fact that in education, those doing the most difficult work don't often see the fruits of their labor. This exceptional educator has been a beacon of inspiration for both students and colleagues, fostering an environment of growth, learning, and empathy. She simply will never know the profound impact she has had on those countless individuals. Miss White has consistently accepted challenges with a smile, thoughtful analysis, and remarkable growth. During her now 27 years as an educator, she has excelled at a variety of roles. More recently, she was on board as a virtual educator during the COVID pandemic, and then transitioned to the head teacher for a newly innovated Compass Classroom position. Within this role, she supports students that struggle with self-regulation and gives them the tools to be successful within the traditional classroom setting. It is difficult to adequately articulate all that Miss White is or all that she does for our school. Suffice it to say, we are lucky to have her, lucky to learn from her, and lucky that she calls FSD home. Please join me in honoring a very special lady. I want to be Miss White when I grow up. Thank you, Miss Krista White. We won't make you talk. Oh, it's great pictures. Listen, I'm just very photogenic, okay? It's not going to get better. I wanted to take just a moment. Yes. Thank you. To introduce our Dean of Students, Ms. Jennifer Mentier. She is going to introduce Roosevelt's Heartland Hero.
Okay, so my Heartland Hero speech goes out to two people that have come here from this organization, and I would like to honor them, Miss Sandy Shelley and our pastor, Jeff Raver. Will you guys come up here and join me on the stage real quick? And as they're coming up, I'll go ahead and give my little speech. Dictionary.com defines the word hero as a person noted for courageous acts or nobility of character. The Farmington Church of the Nazarene and Wings of Love organization may not demonstrate quote-unquote courageous acts for Roosevelt Elementary, but they do exhibit qualities of noble character, such as integrity, selflessness, and generosity. Wings of Love is part of the Love Farmington initiative, which is made up of several churches and associations that do outreach in our community to show love and support for various organizations in Farmington. And that is exactly what the Farmington Church of the Nazarene and Wings of Love do. They show appreciation and encouragement to our staff without hesitation. Volunteering is an act of pure generosity, an act that reflects the very essence of community and service. The people that we are honoring today embody these principles in every sense. Their eagerness to help and support have left an enduring mark on our school, enriching the lives of student and faculty alike. In a world where time is precious, they have willingly offered theirs, selflessly contributing countless hours to support our school's initiatives, events, and activities. I asked a couple of staff members to share their thoughts on our Heartland Hero nominee, and here are a few of the responses. From yummy dinners to hosting a Saturday of free shopping and all the generous acts in between, they have made our hearts and bellies full. It's so nice to have their continued kindness and support throughout the year. Another staff member shared, teachers are super thankful that they help keep us fueled with all the snacks and drinks in the teachers' lounges. They are extremely kind and so appreciative of the work we do. We can feel their love and prayers on a daily basis. So, from providing delicious home-cooked meals for staff during parent-teacher conferences and Teacher Appreciation Week, to stocking the teachers' lounges with goodies and classroom supplies, you can see why Roosevelt staff feel extremely blessed to have such loving and thoughtful people care for them. The time, effort, and dedication that it takes to fulfill acts of kindness and service such as this is much appreciated and never taken for granted. We want to honor this organization whose selflessness and unwavering commitment have impacted our school community with compassion and benevolence. On behalf of everyone at Roosevelt Elementary, I would like to recognize Wings of Love and the Farmington Church of the Nazarene as our 2023 Heartland Hero. We extend a sincere thank you for all of you have done and all that you will continue to do for our building. A long time to smile. Thank you. Did you get one, Monica? Thank you. Awesome. Yes. Yes, you may go shoot this. We're honoring you. Thank you. Absolutely.
Thanks so much for everything.
Go ahead.
Thank you so much for everything. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for what you do. Thank you. And next, we have our fall sports recognition. Athletic Director, Mr. Chad Mills.
Good evening, everybody. We're going to be recognizing fall sports, some of our fall sports teams. Tonight, I believe we're doing volleyball, girls tennis, and softball. And so the first up that's going to be talking about some of our amazing athletes is Miss Haley Baker. Ladies, y'all come up on stage. Come on up.
Hello, everyone. We had a great season this year. Our girls prepared for the 2023 season in February. They started preparing in February with conditioning and weight training, and we didn't end until mid-October. Countless hours were put into our program by our players, and we are endlessly proud of the commitment our girls have to the Black Knight Volleyball program. We had a 20-win season, finishing 20-16. The season didn't end the way we would like it to, but we still had a lot to be proud of. We want to say thank you for coming out to our games and cheering us on. We truly appreciate all of your support. So this season we were 20-16. Right now we have Emily Bauer. Emily, you want to raise your hand here? Emily it was all conference, first team all district, and Emily also achieved a huge feat of 1,000 career assists. If anybody knows volleyball, it's very hard to achieve that career, especially Emily was only on varsity for 2 years, and we run a 6-2 offense, which means there's always 2 setters on the court at all times. This is a really easy feat for someone to achieve if they're running a 5-1, which is with 1 setter that's setting the whole game. But Emily has got that career goal with running with 2 setters and in 2 years. So it's a really, really amazing accomplishment. We're super proud of her for that. Ava Cooper, she was all conference and first team all district. Madison Mills, who couldn't be here tonight, she was first team all district, and she was also voted Parkland Athlete of the Week during our season. Bryn Johnson was our team libero. She was voted second team all district, and Cheyenne Stokert, who is our other team setter, she was voted second team all district as well. This group played 36 games within a 9-week period this season. They sacrificed so much to be a part of our program, and we are forever grateful for that. The future of the program looks incredibly bright. We are returning 9 juniors and a very talented JV bunch, so we hope to see you guys at Black Knight Fieldhouse next year. Thank you. Thank you.
It's fun to watch. It's fun to watch this season. It's fun to watch. Look forward to it.
Coach Cantor and girls tennis.
Good evening. Thank you, Board of Education, for everything you guys have continued to do for our program. The girls' tennis season this year was not what we were really looking for. We were replacing 5 of our top 6 players from last year's team, so it was definitely a rebuilding year for us. One of our words this year was to be relentless, and I will tell you right now that this girls' tennis team was probably one of the most relentless teams I've ever had. They never gave up. The record does not show any indication of how much effort the girls put in. So I'm really proud of them on their accomplishments. And like Coach Baker said, the future is bright for the girls tennis team. Tonight we are recognizing just one player. This is Addison Brennecke. Addison, wave. Okay. Real quick little story about Addison. Addison, whenever we started our season, we rank our team with a tournament, and she ranked in at number 5, and she had probably the most experience coming back from last year, and she was not happy. I could definitely tell. She came off the court. She was kind of mad. As long as she wasn't mad at me, I really didn't care. And about halfway through the season, after one of our matches, a tough loss, can't remember who it was to, but she looked at me and she said, "Coach, by the end of the season, I'm going to be number 1. And I said, well, just go do it. And by golly, she did it. It took her about 2 weeks to challenge through the girls that were in front of her, and she ended up being our number 1 player by the end of the year. She was also selected team most valuable player, and she was selected all conference by the other coaches in the conference. She was nominated by me and selected by them. So I think that's a really cool thing. So anyway, that's all we got. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody, and have a good night.
We have one more group that will be recognized this evening. Next month at the December meeting, we'll have 4 additional fall sports teams. Coach Pingle, you're up for softball.
Good afternoon. I want to start by thanking each of you for your support this season and your involvement in getting the new turf field. We truly appreciate it, and it was truly an honor to get to play on it this season. In addition to that, I want to give a special thank you to Dr. Gibbs. It truly meant a lot at how many games you attended and always touching base and reaching out about how our season was going. We ended our season with a 20-9 record. It didn't end exactly how we had hoped. We took second place in the district tournament and second in our conference. We had a lot of girls receive postseason awards and honors. First one, she's not here tonight. Miss Ellie Robbins was first team all conference, first team all districts, first team all region, and first team all state. Miss J.C. Jarvis is here with us tonight. She was first team all conference, first team all district, first team all region, and second team all state. Miss Shelby Bowling is also here with us tonight. She was first team all conference, first team all district, and second team all region. Miss Jaden Tucker was second team all conference, first team all district, and second team all region. Jocelyn Grimes was second team all conference, first team all district, and second team all region. Miss Avery Graham, who is here with us, was second team all conference and second team all district. Miss Emily Gillum was second team all conference, and Miss Olivia Hardapee was second team all district. So we had a lot of great things that those girls did, and a lot of things we are proud of. Another thing I do want to mention is J.C. Jarvis broke the school district home run record with 13 this season, so that was something pretty fabulous. Like I said, our season didn't end exactly how we had hoped or planned, but a lot of positive things took place and a lot of growth happened. This team will be back to work in a few short weeks for postseason workouts and getting at it. We are losing 5 seniors, so we are going to be in the rebuilding mode next year, but we are excited to get after it. Thank you, guys.
Thanks again for all you do for us in our athletic department. We couldn't be successful without you people. Thank you so much.
Okay, next item on our agenda is a presentation of Mineral Area College President Dr. Joe Kilgore.
Trying not to be offended everybody leaving right before I do mine, but it's coincidence, I know. Good evening, everybody. Dr. Joe Kilgore, President of Mineral Area College, and I just want to first say thank you for this opportunity to speak to you. I was talking to the superintendents, and we felt like annually it's good to give a report as the MAC taxing district is formed of 6 school districts, and Farmington being our largest in that. Try to go around to the school districts, give a brief update about Mineral Area College, things that are happening, and then a small snapshot of your students. When I'm finished with that, if there's any additional data you'd like about your student body, just in generally speaking, you can let me know. Dr. Gibbs can get that to me, and I can get it to you at a later time. I obviously don't have it all with me now, but just some things going on at the college. We are building a softball field. As you know, the importance of your women having an appropriate place to play softball. You know better than anybody really right now. And so, our women's softball player is the only team at MAC that hasn't had a home field ever. And now they do. They will. That field, they're telling us, will be done by Christmas. So we'll see. But it'll definitely be finished by the season. So we're excited about that. Our new MAC Tech Industry and Technology Center is open. I think many of you have seen that. If you have not, again, Dr. Gibbs has my contact information. I'd be happy to personally walk you around that building. Have your walking shoes on, though, because it is massive. 80,000 square feet, and we are adding another 20,000 square feet right now for automotive technology. That program will start in the fall. So really impressive. And I know many of you probably have heard of that project even before I got here in 2019. That's something that MAC has been trying to do and this community has wanted, and it's finally come to fruition. So we're really proud of that facility. If you, like I said, if you want to see it, please let me know. We're happy to show you around. We have a new campus that opened in Cape Girardeau last fall, a year ago, and that campus has quadrupled in size since last fall. Went from 21 to 85. That's still good, though. And it's growing right now, so we're expecting that to be a pretty large outreach center. Cape was the largest community in Missouri that did not have a community college, and so we're happy to provide that. And we're opening a campus in Jackson at their high school this January. So trying to expand, meet the needs of the community as we go. We had some nationally ranked athletic teams. Our women's volleyball team wasn't nationally ranked, but made it to the national tournament. Didn't turn out the way we wanted it to, but they did make it out there. Our cross-country teams, men and women, both finished third in the nation. And our men's basketball team is currently ranked 14th in the nation. They are undefeated, and if you have not been to a MAC basketball game in a while, it's completely different now, and it's a totally different attitude. I encourage you to come out and see. It's a lot of fun. Those guys are good, and we have a new coach, and it's really exciting. At the Mineral Area Fine Arts Academy is going strong. We're bringing theater back in fall of 24. So as many of you know, we had to make some tough decisions concerning the fine arts with the cuts during COVID, and we're bringing those gradually coming back. Theater will be back in the fall of 24. Mineral Area Fine Arts Academy has filled that gap in the meantime and will continue to provide the arts for the community after that. We've just been very blessed with having them as partners, and it's just been amazing. There's really no stoppage in the arts at MAC. You know, we weren't offering the program, but performances continued. More people were involved in the arts than ever before, so really great. And like I said, theater comes back in the fall. There are 2,418 students currently attending Mineral Area College this fall. That is up 5% from last year, so we're very happy about that. And Farmington specifically, of those students, 436 of them went to Farmington High School. Now, I don't know when they went to Farmington High School, so some of them could be, non-traditional students, but that's 18% of our enrollment. The largest school district represented in the fall enrollment right now is Farmington, so which makes sense, but we're pretty proud of that. They have an average GPA of 2.88, and also last year you graduated 29 students with an Associate of Arts degree at the same time as their high school diploma, also the largest of any of our schools that do that. And we have multiple schools that do it, many of them just a handful, but Farmington definitely goes above and beyond with that. So, just want to appreciate the support. Farmington's a great partner of Mineral Area College. We have had a great relationship with Mr. Rubel, Dr. Gibbs and I, and then Dr. Lamont, Dr. Reeves, just really great relationships we have. Really appreciate your support of the college. We're happy to support the school district any way we can. If there's anything that you ever need for MAC to help out with, we'd be happy to help out. Just let us know. Many of you have my contact information, but if you don't, Dr. Gibbs does. He's happy to reach out to me and see what we can do. Otherwise, if you don't have any questions, that concludes my report. Anything?
Thank you, Dr.
All right. Thank you all. Have a good night.
Thank you. Okay, we have some information reports, and we're going to have a presentation on our building performance updates with Ms. Amanda Sheets and our building principals. Please come up.
Good evening. Last month, I presented to you all our overall district data through our student achievement report. And so this month, our building principals are going to share their piece of that data by presenting their building data. And they're going to share reflections, celebrations, and next steps using that data. So if you have any questions after each of their presentations, they will pause for you to ask questions when they're finished. Do you have any questions before we begin? Okay, we will begin.
Hello, everyone. My name is Aaron Bryan. I'm the principal of Jefferson Elementary. I know I probably speak for everybody behind me in saying like the last 2.5 years in education has been one of rising up to meet, unfamiliar challenges And while it's easy to kind of dwell on the difficult parts of the story, it is nice to kind of reflect and celebrate all the good things that are happening in our building. So glad I get to start off. So when looking at Jefferson, some of the highlights with our building data is that we continue to outperform the state averages in both math and ELA. Another celebration would be pointing towards specifically fourth grade math. They reached a proficient and advanced percentage of 75.4%, almost 32% above the state average. And then, just reflecting on that, I feel like we're just always looking for ways in our building to continue to build and sustain collaborative teams. And then, because we just believe that's the foundation of everything we do, as when it comes to instruction, is those collaborative teams. We want to focus on sustaining those and then using that to kind of build the instructional strategies to help spread research-based instructional strategies, throughout our entire faculty. So that's just a few reflections and celebrations. When it comes to the action steps, though, for Jefferson, right now we're shifting from a classroom level response to intervention model. We're kind of moving it more towards the building wide. We believe that gives us the best chance to pinpoint some of the gaps in students' learning and help to target those areas. And we're also utilizing some iReady diagnostic data and formative assessments for our Tier 2 instructional piece. And we are moving towards implementing our student support team piece there to help identify earlier on students who need those interventions so we can quickly intervene and address those gaps in their learning. Also, community connectedness. I know that's a big part of our CSEP. Again, just trying to build and sustain those partnerships with the community so we can kind of continue to build the positive culture and climate that we've worked so hard to establish at Jefferson Elementary. You guys have any questions?
I have one question. On the special education, is there a state average that you can compare to?
I'm not really sure what the state average is. Just from looking through all the other buildings as far as their percentages go, I'm not really aware. I don't really have that answer as far as what the median average is for SPED. We'll get back to you on that.
We could provide you with the state average if you would like us to provide you with the state average. I can send that to you.
The only reason I asked because we have that, on the other data points. I was just curious what we don't have for that.
Good question. Good question.
That's his overall building.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well, you're doing some exceptional work there. That's tremendous.
I appreciate that.
Outcomes there.
It's not just me. All right, well, if there's no more questions, we'll move on to the next one. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
So I know that you guys were provided this ahead of time, so I'm not going to read it to you, but just some highlights for some reflections and celebrations. Our Roosevelt met our building goals for both district level performance assessments as well as state goals. We exceeded pre-pandemic academic achievement goals, which is pretty stinking special. We are outperforming all state averages. This is the first time in 4 years. Our growth trends are also suggestive of sustainable growth. So we've seen a steady uptick, which not tremendous, but every year we've gotten better. It's a good sign of sustainability. We have a focus on developing and supporting the instructional practice, those fundamental foundational practices to ensure academic success in all content areas. We believe we have everything we need right here in our building and in our district. Our people are our greatest resources. So we continue to model and monitor both collaborative and instructional best practices with our systems and our teams within our building. We have what's called professional growth community, and we call it our leadership team. And they drive a lot of our monitoring and modeling pieces. And we also are maintaining a strong emphasis on our safe learning environment. We have become super intentional and focused on solid core instruction, maintaining that safe learning environment and creating those sustainable systems over the past 4 years. We collaboratively created building improvement plans based on our district improvement plans and revise our efforts quarterly. When our building succeeds, we all succeed, right? our hard work here, it pales only in comparison to our collaborative growth mindset. So our teachers are working really hard and they see that our goals are reachable and achievable. The future is bright for Roosevelt Elementary. We're grateful for the support of our administration as well as you all. We couldn't do it without you. We truly have the best people here. What kind of questions do you have?
I have one question.
Okay, it's scary to have a question, just so you know.
You mentioned it's first time in 4 years that you've exceeded the state average in all areas.
Yeah.
So how much of an advancement did you make from the prior numbers in order to achieve the outcome for this year?
Well, that's dependent on the subject area, like the content area and the grade level. Know that every area increased aside from 4th grade ELA, and that was comparable to previous years.
Okay.
That answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You bet. Any other questions? Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Good job.
Hello, I'm Heather Weiss, the principal at Washington Franklin Elementary. Super thankful for the team that I have to work with this year as a first-year principal. Their support has been amazing in looking through all this stuff and checking out our data and working with me to help me set our goals for our building as well. On our data from 2023, our building as a whole is performing above the state average in both ELA and in math. Our 3rd grade exceeded that state average in both ELA and math and by quite a bit of a percentage there, so 3rd grade did a great job. We're going to be continuing to monitor and use our assessment data, especially in our 4th grade area. As you can see, we are we're below state average for our 4th grade, but we're working this year to help enhance that and help our students achieve that state average or above this year. Some things that we have for action steps that we're going to use to help us improve and sustain those scores that we have is to continue our collaboration focus. Our PGC team, just like Mrs. Hemman had mentioned earlier, I just met with them this week and we worked on refocusing our action plans that we have for each grade level so that each grade level is able to work with what they need on their collaboration to better help each other and support each other as a team. We're also paying close attention as we progress monitor from our benchmarks throughout the school year. Our title teacher is consistently and constantly looking at scores of the students and how they're performing with their small groups and things so that we can better prepare them for their benchmarks and also the map at the end of the year. And we also have established this year a school-wide RTI time where the teachers are looking at each of their kiddos and their performances on their benchmarks and their testing, grouping them and then reorganizing them as they need to as they kind of progress monitor throughout the year. But overall, very proud of the building that I was able to take over this year. We do have some work to do, but of course we're being intentional about that and working together as a team. Any questions? That's a good question. We can get that to you. I was going to say Mrs. Sheets might be able to better answer that question.
When you look at the cohort data, that 4th grade group last year were the group that have been significantly behind since they began the math testing in 3rd grade. They were the group of students that when COVID struck, they did not have the 1st grade year. So we have seen gaps in their achievement from that point. So we're working to put together the response to intervention times, the small group, consistently looking at that data and what we can do to close those gaps in those fundamental skills that they lost in that 1st grade.
Any other questions?
Angie, if you look at the graph on there, it looks like they went up from 37 to 38, if I'm looking at that right. So they did go up slightly. They did go down considerably in math, and so it's kind of a balance there.
Thank you very much.
I would add to that as the principal of the building where those 4th graders are now 5th graders. Our response to their intervention needs, we see a large difference between the current fifth graders, those fourth grade students on that data, and our fifth grade students last year. There are some much larger gaps. We are being very intentional with trying to fill that, just as they did when they were in Washington Franklin, you know. But that is a different group of students with different challenges. I definitely see that. So anyways, back to Lincoln, right? So I'm always super proud to brag on Lincoln, as you all know. We have had some celebrations. We are above the state average in fifth grade math and science. I am super proud of our science team over the last couple of years. They are really buying into those reading strategies that are, you know, research-based, and they are embedding that into their science instruction, which has really been helpful because we see that they're not performing in science because they cannot read the material. So the science teachers have really went above and beyond with buying into that, and I'm super proud of them, and they're seeing that pay off. We also see that some of the strategies in math, because that again goes into the science as well, they really work well, they collaborate well across the board, not just within the science team or just the reading team. They're really leaning on one another for those strategies. So I couldn't be more proud of them for that. We are above the state average in sixth grade reading, so I'm proud of them for that as well. We are looking at sixth grade instructional practices and monitoring them pretty closely. I have always really harped on that tier 1 instruction. We need quality instruction the first time, and then we look at what additional needs are there and we make sure that's high quality. So as we think about our action steps, we are continuously looking at our tier 1 instruction, but I would say that I have a lot of additional support now with that tier 2 as well. I'm super proud of our tier 3, which are with our title and our math intervention groups. They are rock stars, and we can see a lot of growth with that. And with our special education group, we have really tapped into the strategies that our title and intervention team uses with their students, and we're seeing success with them. And they're almost kind of mentoring some of our young special education teachers because a lot of those strategies are the same. And, you know, they don't know what they don't know. And they really just need someone across the hall that can cheer them on and model those things for them. So that is an additional focus for us. Some of those strategies that we know work for this cohort, we know could also be applied to another group. Do you have any questions for me? I'd be happy to make something up.
Sounds good.
No? Okay. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Good evening. At the middle school, it has been nice to see that we're above the state average in our entire building. If you look at our 7th grade reading scores, we are above the state average in 7th and 8th grade, and that is something that has been consistent since I have been here in the building all 7, of my years. And so I can see the benefits of the strategies that the elementary are using with a lot of the programs that they have, that then those students are getting to us with better skills. So that's something that we are seeing that we can sustain. The letters program, the MRI training, and things like that are building upon that. So another thing that is important in 7th grade year, which other buildings have, but it's a transition year. And we've identified that many times, that a transition year is very difficult for students, and that is something that we're proud of, that our 7th graders can still perform above the state average in a transition year, especially at the middle school when there's a lot going on in their bodies and in their brains. So if you look at 8th grade math as well, we are above the state average there, so we continue to build upon, our 7th grade math, continue to build upon the skills and things that they have. You can obviously see that our 8th grade math is well below the state average, and there are several probably contributing factors for that. One thing that we had this year is that we had a late change in our 8th grade math, but one that ultimately I think is going to be a big payoff. Mrs. Sutherland, who has been our foundational leader in math, is now our assistant principal. And when that switch was made, we decided to, since it was such a late hire, we absorbed that position, and instead of filling it with just 2 regular math teachers, we had to split that up among 4 teachers in the building. So you lose some of that consistency and you lose some of that time for collaboration whenever we do something like that. One of the other things is that this is the first year we've been below the state average in any category, and it is also the first year that we did not, our students who take Algebra 1 their scores did not count towards our MAP scores. So when you take anywhere from our top 85 students who score in advanced and proficient every single year, and you take them out of your scores, you're going to see a significant drop. This year we have 100 kids taking Algebra 1 in 8th grade. Those 100 kids are not going to be counted in our MAP scores this year. So you're going to see a change in that. So we don't want to play a numbers game and say, well, why don't we just have our kids take the MAP test instead? That's not what's right for kids who are achieving it at our top level either. Dr. Lamons and I are very proud of our 8th grade students who take the Algebra 1 test. We believe they were somewhere around 88% advanced and proficient. That is an extremely high number. So if you have 85 kids at 88% advanced and proficient, and then those students don't take that test, you're going to see a drop. But if that's the way that the scores are going to be computed, then we have to find a different way to raise the students who are taking the 8th grade MAP test. So if you look at some of the things that we're looking at for action steps, we have changed the way after our students take assessments we always have had collaboration, but with Mastery Connect, students score in levels of green, yellow, and red, and now those teachers are working together instead of in isolation. So if you had 2 8th grade math teachers, after they were doing an assessment and looking at the data, they are working with the other 8th grade teacher. They're changing their day, they're combining classes, and then we're utilizing people like Michelle Odell, who is our instructional coach. She comes in and helps push in on those days and trying to support students in a more collaborative effort than in an isolated manner. One of the other things that we're doing is that we are providing building-wide time for kind of a math intervention. So we only have 4 math teachers that service around 600 kids. And so our math teachers are working every day on our PD days to provide lessons that instead of 4 math teachers are working with their students, we have 43 teachers now. So it doesn't matter whether you teach health or you teach science or you teach social studies, there's one day a week where all of our students are focusing on the deficiencies that we've identified by this data. And so we feel like that is going to also help whenever we have a building-wide effort. And if it's a building improvement goal, we needed to find a way for our whole building to get behind that. So we also have other action steps that we're proud of in ELA and reading. We are a title school for the first time. That is very exciting that we can service almost 125 students who are reading about 2 grade levels below. We've never had that before. So if we were able to score above the state average and now have that support, we're looking to be able to increase that. And this is the first year that we are able to implement the MRI strategies that the elementaries have had as well. So those are being implemented not only in our reading, but in our last 2 PD days, they have been implemented building-wide as well. So I am ready to take questions or concerns.
Can you explain again about the 125 students? How does that determine?
For our Title I?
Title I.
So some of those are inherited from Lincoln. They come to us who are already receiving Title I services. Okay. And so we take those students. So that is a collaboration effort that we work with them. They have reading intervention plans. And so we take those students and we carry that on into a building because it is a transition year. We know that's just not going to magically get better. And then based on our Window 1 iReady, we identify students who are reading 2 grade levels below their ability, and those students were placed, total between 7th and 8th grade, those students were placed in a Title I program where they receive, obviously, extra support. We're going to be taking our Window 2 iReady, and so we are excited to see in reading and math that some of the things, we monitor that, and then we'll make adjustments going in the second semester.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, some of the celebrations we have at Farmington High School is we're performing above state averages in ELA 2, algebra, and government. I think there's been a lot of changes in the government EOC, and so we did have some fears that that may not happen, but we were very proud that we were able to accomplish that. some reflection that we have is we do have some declines in Algebra 2 EOC scores, but all the students who took Algebra 1 EOC in the middle school will now take Algebra 2 EOC in high school. And so we only had about 12 students that tested in Algebra 2, so that's a very small population, which is why we think we saw a decline. Incorporating some of our action steps for the 23-24 school year are to incorporate collaborative and instructional best practices in biology to close gaps in student achievement, because biology was our major area of concern. Our state average, we continue to decline. The state average goes up, so we obviously have some issues in that area. And something that we've noticed a trend in is when you break down the areas for growth in biology, it's pretty consistent with, even though our ELA scores and our ACT scores may be above state average, we have some struggles in those areas as well. And it's very similar to the same struggles we have in biology. Vocabulary seems to be a big struggle for our students, not necessarily knowing the definition of words, but being able to apply those words and use them in context and that little bit deeper thinking. So our biology group has worked with our ACT focus group to create some ACT lessons that are very much in the area that we think we will see improvement in all areas, not just biology, but maybe some improvements in our ACT, in our biology, and being able to apply is one of the most important part of your learning. EOC testing is very important, but we need students to be prepared for careers in college outside of high school, and being able to apply their knowledge in an effective way is definitely the most important task that a high school can accomplish. So that is an area, and our biology collaborative group is very on board with that, and working with even some of our dual credit courses to create these to get that rigor and not lower expectations because we're struggling in our EOC scores. So we have a team that's willing to take on that task and rise to the challenge to close those gaps, because that is our biggest worry right now. We need to identify, analyze areas of weakness in reading through collaboration, which is what we've been working with our ELA department, but that is cross-curricular. We can't just use ELA to improve our reading. We have to do that across the board. And we're going to increase our Tier 2 supports and utilize intervention times to build specifically identified skill gaps. At this time, we're probably the building with the biggest deficiency in our interventions. And we're going to have to get a little more creative. I love what Mr. Jenkins just said about making that a building-wide focus, because we'll have to, we have interventions for ELA and interventions for math, but we need to make sure that we're looking across the board to make that a building-wide concept and get creative with our schedule to make that happen. So, any questions for the high school?
Dr. Lund, you said on the Algebra 2 that we only had 12 students that tested on that?
Right, it wasn't necessary to test in Algebra 2 last year because most of the students had tested in Algebra 1, but moving forward, we'll see an increase in the Algebra 2 students that take the EOC test. Mhm.
I mean, just look at that number. I mean, our 12 kids is probably the smallest group probably in the state that's taken that.
Correct. And some of our students had to take the Algebra 2 EOC last year to meet A+ requirements. So some of the students that even had to do that had not had Algebra 2 in some time, but that's really not an excuse either, because you want them to always have that knowledge and not just when they're in the course. But so that was another change that we experienced last year. So some of the students, we did some review sessions and we worked with them to try to, just freshen up on their math skills. But next year, we hope that looks a little different.
I mean, by going by that figure, I mean, it's kind of nil to me.
Right.
It's only 12 kids. I mean, that's
right. And was it 12? Did I get that number? I was from memory. I think it was around 12. 7. Okay. I was like, it was yeah. Yeah. It was low. Right.
Okay.
You referenced.
Yes. I believe reading comprehension is a struggle across our district. I don't want to speak for other schools, and then it's more the vocabulary, being able to apply the vocabulary, not necessarily. There's a difference between just multiple choice, trying to figure out what a word means, but being able to apply it in context. So it is a little deeper than I mean, reading comprehension is an issue, I believe, across our district, but we put things in place that I think we will eventually see growth in that area. But
Mm-hmm.
So it's really important that those students have those skills to be able to analyze and break down those complex texts within the assessments. And so when you look at our data, our diagnostic data from iReady, vocabulary has it's low across the board, and that's not uncommon. And so we're working to close those gaps. And from last year, we've seen we're starting to close some of those gaps with those vocabulary pieces. With the interventions we put in, and with the teachers having the science of reading training, teachers are now having the Missouri Reading Initiative training, so they really, in the building-wide response to intervention times, they're really able to focus on closing those gaps. And ACT, and I know this is not part of this data, but ACT is seeing that same across the state, the same struggles. And so that's why we've decided that we're going to try to accomplish more than one thing by making those strategies in place. Any other questions?
You did mention, I think, that we had a number of new first-year teachers in mathematics, is that right? Math teachers?
We did have some changes in our math department last year, yes, for certain. We had those same changes this well. We had Michelle Strobel last year was one of our math teachers. She was new to Farmington, but she's an experienced teacher. And so, and this year we have changes as well and shifts, but we hope that that won't interfere with staying consistent in our algebra scores. Because even though we do have changes in instructors, they're a strong collaborative team, and Ms. Carr and Ms. Odell, who used to teach Algebra 1, are still very much a part of that team and guiding that instruction. And one of my favorite things about our math department is when you walk into a math classroom, no matter who's teaching it, they work together, and they may have different approaches to the way they teach, but it's so consistent, and it's because of that strong collaboration that they have, and having a strong leader in their department that makes sure that collaboration goes well. So.
Great. Anyone? Okay. Thanks, Dr. Morris.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Anyone? Okay.
Thank
you
you
very
all
much.
so much.
Thank you. Okay, we have some procedures, updates for information only. You see there on your agenda, and then we have some that we need to vote on. Let me see what those are. It's the end of our 30-day review. Several policies there, so if you have any questions, if not, that's a motion for approval.
I move that we accept the policy updates as presented.
Second.
All in favor? You opposed? Okay. All right. And we have our consensual agenda, several items there. Anyone have any questions on those? If not, a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor? You opposed? Okay, thank you. Okay, Dr. Gibbs, update.
Right. Got a lot of great things going on across the district. So at the most recent PRC meeting, Dolores, Angie, and I were at, Lee Southern joining as well. Everybody shares out their successes. So we had excellent performance here at Truman Auditorium from our theater students. And then I thought it was neat that the JROTC marksmanship team competed in Tennessee, placing second. So I want to give a shout out to them. And then Dr. McIntyre shared about HOSA week, and they did a mock scenario of triage situation with students, did that with BJC, so that was neat to hear about. And then we had 23 of our 37 students that tried out for all district band make it, and then they hosted the concert over at the Centene Center. So a lot of great things going on there all across the district. This is not just for the middle school, but parent-teacher conferences and the book fairs that were recently held were a huge success. Want to shout out to Washington Franklin, who has a sunshine club for the girls and a boys club, and they're making a positive impact on their school community over there. And Daisy Baker working to get students the support they need through the MOOPS program. And I already mentioned the conferences. And then Dolores, Amanda, and I traveled to Kansas City for some professional development related to Missouri School Board Association. A lot of great topics that were covered. A lot of Dolores is an expert on AI now.
No,
she sat through 5 hours. 5 hours.
It was from 11 to 4.
Yeah, so she's the go-to for AI, I tell her. But a lot of information on financial updates, legal updates, the legislative session that happened last spring and the one coming up. Dolores attended the delegate assembly for us, and then there were other important topics. So I really appreciate all the learning that was taken away from that. The demographic study is underway. We have all of the data submitted from our district, and then they're collecting data from the counties to put that together. He's thinking he will have a report to us even by the end of December. So I'm anxious to see all of that come together. The Career Academy opened on November 8th, and we got our CNA and Med-Certs programs down there. A couple of you made appearances down there. You saw what we had accomplished, so I appreciate that. And then Shanna worked with the PAT team to get the Dolly Parton Imagination Library rolled out. They'll continue to be working across our community, and what that does is it takes every student 0 to 5 that isn't in school, and they can get a book per month mailed to them free, and that was funded through DESE, so we're glad to be part of that. Moving on, next slide. Veterans Day was a great celebration across the district. Hope some of you checked some of those things out with the breakfast that was put on and the special events. Just exciting to be a part of. I appreciated the band making it around that day and making that day more meaningful for our students. WL Johns went through our recent renovation. We have a safety vestibule now, so when you come in, you enter, and Crystal Rose is sitting right there at a window to greet people, making that more safe, and then you're able to enter the building. We'll go get you, or she'll send the person down to a meeting. You can see the attendance enrollments still hovering right around that 4,000, so we're up this year. ADA average daily attendance is 94.37, and that's year-to-date an increase of over 1%, so that's a good jump for us this year. Moving on to Dr. Krause's area, working on, we adopted the revised AC policy, so and as part of that, we're working on putting a plan in place with continuing actions for improvement for inclusive practices. She has her wellness committee meeting soon, and a small part of a group that will break off of that will work on inclusive practices. The secondary team is looking into conscious discipline and making sure we align with the pre-K. And then moving on to Mrs. Turner's area would be the kindergarten and through 5th grades, looking at their Window 2 iReady coming up, and they use that data to create their reading success plans that guide the work of the titled teachers and our Tier 2 and Tier 3 students as we support those through all the intervention programs that you heard from the principals about. We are also just continuing to, as part of the professional growth community that meets monthly, look at our instructional best practices, match those with behavior, and create those multi-tiered systems of support, pushing those out into the building. Moving on to Mine and Valley's area and the financial and budget updates. The state forecast is that revenue will be pretty stable this year and into next, but state revenue is showing signs of slowing down after the tremendous growth we've had, so we need to be prepared for that. And then we're putting together documentation to build comprehensive budgets, so that will help us with the short and long-term projections that we want to make more easily. Jumping over to athletics and activities. Way to go to the soccer team, exciting district champs, and then played hard in the state quarterfinal game Saturday ago, and was excited to see them have a good season. So way to go to Coach Ricky and all of the players that worked so hard this season. And then the football team had a great finish to the season, finishing second in district in a hard-fought game against Cape Central. So proud of the work that went. And then Evan Fuller representing us well at the state cross-country meet, where he set the new record by about 10 seconds, placed fourth. And then in Mindy's realm, she's working to increase student voices. You may be seeing more pictures if you're checking us out on Facebook. She went to a conference and really wanted to show an uptick in that's what parents want to see when they get to our social media sites is pictures of kids learning. So we're really working to tell that story there. And then looking at ways to increase two-way communication. And then safety update. It looks like John and I are going to be planning to run a meeting with all the agencies across the community to try to determine how we would deal with an interagency response situation and how it would relate to the school. Go to the next slide. So, is that it? Okay. All right. Let me pull up my report that's in here. Somehow all my slides aren't on.
Technology update.
Yeah. Okay, a couple more areas.
Technology update. Or safety.
Yeah, technology, I had some slides on that, but wanted to shout out to Corey's team for the 200 wireless access points they put in across the district. Cybersecurity training rolled out last month. We had 10 winners. For all of the people that completed it, we draw randomly just to keep people going on that. That's a very important part to safeguard our systems through the cybersecurity training. So Mindy and I were prize patrol this week. That was a lot of fun. And then we're starting to plan for our technology committee and the plan we're going to put in place. Josh always has a lot going on with maintenance, and really appreciate the work that his team did to get us across the finish line with the phase 1 of the Career Academy. And then you can see some of his goals for the near future with wrapping up the recovery from the flooding incident at the WL Johns, where we had all that rain and got in the basement. So we're almost wrapping that up. And then some other repairs from that those torrential rains we had with the awnings. And then he's working on a new work order system. And then Dr. Kraus did some beneficial training for our transportation team on dealing with problem behaviors on their buses and just giving them some management to work with those students. And then food service, really shout out to them who made our breakfast success for Veterans Day. So really appreciate the hard work that went on there. And then Mr. Northern's work with our online learners. We're seeing some success there, but we're also bringing some kids back to school that are more successful in the school setting. So kind of finding the balance there. So lots that I ran through that in a hurry. Any questions about what's going on across the district?
Anyone?
The response to Aaron Kreitz and Grandma's Kitchen contributions, I know there was a big push. It seemed like a lot of people got that information all at once, and I was curious what the response might have been.
To what?
Donations to student accounts, student lunch accounts through Aaron Kreitz position.
Okay.
And it was called Grandma's Kitchen, and it was, a way to collect money for students who were, in arrears in their.
Yeah, that's always appreciated. I did.
With that, but it was nice to see a unified effort that the public was doing aware.
Yeah, that's it's great that happens. Mindy, have we gotten any thank yous out in response to helping out with student accounts? Yeah, we'll check in with Aaron on that and get some appreciation shared out on that and how that helped those students.
That could just be an ongoing need that we have. It's a great place to make a difference.
Okay, thank you for bringing that to our attention. So we will definitely. Any other questions, comments?
Okay, very good. Thanks, Dr. Gibbs. Okay. Anything else in open session? Not? Call for a motion to adjourn to closed session.
Make a motion to adjourn to closed session to discuss personnel pursuant to 610.021, paragraphs 1, 3, 13, and 14.
Second.
Bowkey?
Yes.
Freeman?
Yes.
Klein?
Yes.
Kane?
Yes.
Howard?
Yes.
Lawson?
Yes.
Noble?
Yes. Okay, that concludes our regular session. Thanks, everyone, for attending. Have a good evening.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, yes. Very much so.
How did we get this, this meeting set for the night before our Thanksgiving break?
Yeah. By the way, are we going to have a December meeting?
Do we usually or not?
Well,
Yeah.